Welcome to NPR's podcast series, Technology. I'm Alice.
And I'm Grace.
And today we cover the topic of getting energy from the sun.
Why would we need to do that? Aren't today's fuels enough?
Unfortunately, Grace, that's a widespread belief that just isn't true. There are only around 42 years of real petroleum left.
What are we going to do?
Glad you asked, Grace. Now that fossil fuels have started to become economically depleted, a search has begun for renewable energy sources.
Let me guess. Solar energy.
You got it, Grace. Energy from the sun.
How does that even work?
All sources of energy that we use right now, such as coal and oil, originally got their energy from the sun. The way the solar power systems work is that they take the direct energy from the sunlight and absorb it and store it to then use it for electricity. You need to read this article.
This one by the Greenpeace International and the European Photovoltaic Industry Association?
Yep, that's the one.
Should I read it out loud?
Sure, but just paraphrase it if you can.
Solar power is a prime choice in developing an affordable and feasible global power source that can substitute fossil fuels in all the world's climate zones. The solar radiation reaching the Earth's surface in 1 year provides more than 10,000 times the world's yearly energy needs. The ability of PV...
Wait, remind me what PV is again?
It stands for photovoltaics. Basically just photons of light knocking electrons into a higher state of energy to create electricity. It's the most common method of using solar cells to convert energy from the sun into electricity.
Okay, continue.
Anyway, back to the article. The ability of PV to generate electricity easier than any other power generation technology, in addition to exponential cost decreases and performance increases, are identified as the primary forces behind the revolution in the electricity generation. The PV industry has demonstrated annual growth rates of 30 to 40% for the past 20 years, while revenues are expected to increase tenfold.
And there you can see the obvious benefits of going solar.
I know that the most popular type of solar power are solar panels. My uncle has them, but I can't figure out how they work.
Solar panels are photovoltaic units used to generate electricity. Solar panels are made of photovoltaic cells, photo meaning using light, voltaic meaning production of electricity. The cells have 2 layers of semiconductors, similar to a battery, while one layer is negative and one is positive. These layers are protected by shields made of special glass. The semiconductor absorbs radiation from sun and transforms it into direct electricity, called DC electricity. The DC current flows to the inverter, which converts it into alternating current, called AC electricity. This process takes place billions of times per second. The power flowing through the inverter travels through a bidirectional electric meter in the main panel, which brings electricity throughout the house. The bidirectional meter shows the net power used minus the net power produced. When the system generates more electricity than used, the meter spins backwards.
What happens at night?
At night, the excess electricity that was generated during the day goes back to the main panel to use at other times.
They seem really efficient. How long do they last?
The life expectancy is 30 to 40 years.
That sounds super complicated.
Well, Grace, the technology is truly amazing, and I really do believe it is the future for this planet.
It all sounds nice right now, but they also sound really expensive.
The average initial cost for a solar panel system is $50,000 for a 6.25 kilowatt per hour system. However, owners of solar panels will receive 30% or more credit on their tax return. One of the pros of the systems is that it can lead to big federal and state tax rebates. The energy bill goes down, and who wouldn't want to eliminate that?
Very, very true, Alice.
Solar panels are extremely common and the main type of solar energy used in the world today. But there are other ways to harvest the endless amount of energy that the sun generates.
Like what?
Well, Grace, one example is a solar cooker. The solar cooker takes the energy from the sunlight and uses it to cook and pasteurize foods and drinks. Solar cooking is a simple and safe and convenient without using fuels or creating an unwanted amount of heat in the kitchen. Thousands of people use solar cookers for the sole reason that that is the only choice they have. Solar energy helps save people's lives by giving them an option to cook when spending money on wood and fuel just isn't reasonable for them.
Wow, it's so interesting how solar power is saving people's lives in some countries.
I know, right?
Solar power seems worth it, but how is it affecting the economy as a whole? Or how is it going to affect it in the future?
If you read this article from the New York Times, you can see that solar energy will pay off.
Listen to what the experts from the Times have to say. With new technology, costs of solar power around the world have fallen to such an extent that solar can compete with and win against other forms of power generation like natural gas or coal. 3 million jobs would be created from this, and it would save around $520 billion a year in fossil fuel imports, according to a study by the New Climate Institute, an environmental research group. Many analysts think small local solar-powered units are going to at least partially replace mammoth power plants. Solar panels are exceptional in that they can be built quickly in various sizes and placed in a variety of settings, like rooftops in any climate, urban or not. They also have no moving parts and require little maintenance. Okay, Alice, I think I'm understanding this now, although I'm still a little shaky about how exactly the panels just use sunlight and make it into something so useful.
Trust me, that took me a while to grasp too. Here, listen to this explanation by Grow Solar and everything will make a little more sense.
At Grow Solar, we say sun, baby, sun. The sun provides a clean, endless supply of life-giving energy and can also produce affordable electricity for your home or business. Let's take a look at how solar electricity works. It all starts when the sun shines on solar electric modules. When that happens, direct current, or DC, electricity is created. DC electricity travels to a unit called an inverter, which changes it to the electricity used by your home, known as alternating current or AC electricity. AC electricity then moves to the circuit breaker panel in your house and powers anything in your home that's plugged in, like your TV, lights, or toaster. If your solar panels are producing more electricity than your home is using, like during a sunny day when you're out running errands or at work, the extra power gets piped back into the utility grid, where the utility company is required to give you a full dollar-for-dollar, watt-for-watt credit for the power you send back. This is called net metering. Your meter actually spins backwards and takes kilowatt hours off of your utility bill, kind of like rollover minutes on your cell phone plan. In this way, your utility acts like a battery for your solar power system. This allows you to use energy when you need it, while maximizing your savings when your solar system is producing more power than your home is using.
That really clarified how these wonderful things work. I hope this episode of NPR's Technology helped explain it to all you listeners too.
That's it for today. Stay tuned for next week's episode with Suze on why everyone should have a cell phone.